Raw review for the May 12th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, right out of Louisville, Kentucky, off of the heels of a great backlash.
Yep.
Kind of sandwiched right in between a Saturday Night Main Event. So let's see what we get here.
We got a lot of wrestling coming up. We got a Saturday Night Main Event. We got Money in the Bank coming up. So Raw's got to get things kicked off. Let's see if they do it. Before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. We also have a new TikTok. It's got reaction content on it. So COD WrestlePod React. So check that out as well. But let's get this show started from Louisville, Kentucky. We had CM Punk start the show. He came out. He said dust has settled from WrestleMania, but he's still pissed off. But he has a lot of enemies, but the number one enemy with a bullet on him is him. Actually, he's pissed at himself because he let it all happen again with Paul Heyman. He's been there. He's done that. He got stabbed in the back once again, but he thought that they had grown up and matured all these years. He called Paul a fat little snake, and he told Paul that you know how this ends. I'm going to get my hands on your fat little neck. And right when he said that, ladies and gentlemen, Paul comes out by himself and starts to approach Punk on the stage. And Punk's like, oh, square up, bro. Even I was sitting there like, what the hell is Paul going to do? Mm-hmm. Get in the ring with him? He going to kill you.
He was walking like he was determined there, you know?
But he backs up, of course, and CM Punk still has his mic, so he's threatening him and stuff. And then Seth Rollins comes out and Braun Breaker comes out, so the gang's all here, right? Seth says, you know what? Whenever I think you have reached the pinnacle of being selfish and egotistical, you always top yourself, Punk. This is your best friend, and you just put him in absolute hell leading up to WrestleMania. Now you're gaslighting him as if he is the villain, but that's what you do, right? You always want to be the villain in absolutely everything. And guess what? I hate you even more and more because of it, because you're the reason I'm not the champion right now. And guess what? If you want to be a victim all the time, hell, I can make that. I can arrange that. So Braun, go do your thing. And he sends Mr. Braun Breaker to go beat up on Mr. CM Punk. And all of us are like, oh yeah, that'll work. Braun takes off to the ring. Fight ensues. Bada bing, bada boom. They're going after each other. Braun gets the advantage. CM Punk tries to hit Braun with a microphone right away, but he misses. It slips out of his hand.
He hits him a couple times in the back, but they're also really light hits. And it's well, you're not doing anything to that, man.
Yeah, Braun starts to get the advantage on him, and Seth Rollins starts to join in when Sami Zayn is there, and he starts to join in as well, but Seth and Braun are still able to get the advantage. That's when Paul Heyman comes running down. He gets a chair, because that's going to be Seth's thing now. I mean, it's always been Seth's thing, but now it's very much his thing to use chairs to beat people up. So he's handed a chair, but before he can hit CM Punk with it, Jey Uso's there. Mr. Jey Uso, he runs in the ring, he starts super kicking people. And while he's super kicking people, Sami Zayn has rolled out to the ring and gotten a few chairs for him and Sami, or him and Jey. So they even the odds up, and Braun and Seth do the smart thing, and they kind of roll out of the ring, and they retreat to the back. Later in the night, we do get two backstage segments, one from Punk and Sami, and one from Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. They're basically, Punk and Sami have agreed on terms of being a team, teaming up against Braun and Seth, and then Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker have a surprise later on in the night for somebody. Their night's not over, so we get that set up as well. So at the end of all of this, it is officially announced that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker will be teaming up to face CM Punk and Sami Zayn at Saturday night's main event. So we're not getting a 3v2 and questioning the third one, but this match should be really good. I like the entire thing. I'm popping all of it.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to do that. And especially for this really important faction here, you need some legitimate stars, right? You need a legit baby face like a Sami Zayn, who the crowd loves. You need somebody like CM Punk that has the accolades. He has the accomplishment now, right? He main evented the WrestleMania. He's really kind of established himself back again as a main event player. So it all adds up. You got Rollins, you got Braun being the young guy here. It was good stuff. Nothing crazy really to write home about tonight, but Saturday Night Main Event, you need something like this, and that just kind of makes me think there's going to be some more shenanigans. So I think Saturday Night Main Event, we get a little bit more of a breakdown. I don't think that really ends clean in any sort of way, and that's just going to be what we get here.
Yeah, I think that Saturday Night Main Event is going to be a good match between these two teams, but I also think we're going to still get the third member. I really thought that they were going to have Jey kind of be the third member. Maybe we're going to wait till Money in the Bank and do a 3v2 and we need one more person type thing, but that's not going to happen. I'm still thinking maybe Sami Zayn ends up, turning on CM Punk, on Jey Uso and joining them. I don't know why. I can't really give you reasoning behind it, but him celebrating with Jey after Mania got a little sketchy, and there's room for one more big twist in this whole thing, so I think that'd be cool. But I'm happy this happened at Saturday Night Main Event. It's looking to be a better card than our other Saturday Night Main Events, so all good to me.
Yeah, and there looks to be, like you said, one more twist, one more turn here. Paul Heyman had some interesting looks at Rollins throughout the night in terms of the promos, so who knows, maybe there. Sami Zayn talking to Punk, though, and saying, like, you can trust me. Punk saying, I'm hesitant. And then being on the same page now. I mean, let's be honest here. They've both kind of turned their back at certain times on other people, so wouldn't be surprised if it's Sami at all.
Be cool. I'd be down for it. Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. I'm down for it. We would get our first match tonight. It was Penta taking on Chad Gable. Before Pat McAfee came out, they were doing this thing where Pat McAfee had to be checked by the physicians at the event tonight before he could come out because he got beat up so much against Gunther, which I like that. That's a nice little, icing on the cake for good storytelling there. But he comes out, he gets a big pop. Match does ensue, though. Chad Gable goes after Penta's mask right away, trying to rip that. He really actually kind of almost pulled that thing off, too, at the beginning. He was ripping it.
It was close.
Yeah. Penta would try to do a suicide dive, but Chad would come out of nowhere and do a diving headbutt to Penta as he's suicide diving. That was a really, really cool spot that happened. He got up and he said, "Luchadors suck." Then Chad would go to the top rope and try to do some sort of crossbody or something, and Penta would reply with a code breaker up the top rope. Chad would hit the ankle lock, all that good stuff, but then eventually Penta would hop up to the second rope, jump down, and do a super Mexican destroyer of some sort, basically. 1, 2, 3, Penta gets the win here. He beats Chad Gable. There's no shenanigans after the match. This was just good old wrestling graps in a good singles match, popping it.
Yeah, it's a fun wrestling match for sure. And then, like you said at the end there, Penta with the super Mexican destroyer, kind of like the Panama Sunrise, but off the top rope, I guess. It was cool looking, that was for sure. Cool to see Penta here get a win after he just lost against Dom at the hands of El Grande. But you have him kind of picking up steam, picking up another win here, much needed win, kind of to have him kind of get some momentum towards El Grande here. Chad Gable, I don't really know what they're going to kind of do with him. We'll see. We'll wait and see what they do. He does cut a promo later on in the night. Chad Gable kind of seems to be losing his way. He's got Ivy Nile there. He's got the Creeds later on in the match. He's the mentor, but he's the mentor that keeps on losing. So we'll see what's next for Chad Gable. Penta, though, cool win, cool pyro. He's great in the ring. Penta show. We'll just keep the train rolling.
Give me 40 of these matches, man. It's just two great wrestlers wrestling in the ring, and the ending was clean. Which, honestly, you have to note that Raw and SmackDown lately, not a lot of clean finishes, so this is a good one here. We would get Dom backstage with Judgment Day, and cool thing was happening here. Raquel and Carlito were making body-to-body contact, chilling in the back. Carlito is slowly getting out of the friend zone, so I'm giving Carlito a pop by himself right there. You're right, you heard me. I'm giving him a pop because he's working his way out of the friend zone. But Dom walks back there, and he's celebrating because guess what? He won, but he walks over to Finn and goes, "Hey, man, just so you know, at Backlash, you kind of almost screwed the pooch. And I wouldn't have won if it weren't for El Grande Americano showing up, man." And Finn says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, get off your high horse. You're starting to sound a little bit like Damian and Rhea when they were on their way out of the Judgment Day. So keep that in mind." And then he also said, "But don't worry, I'm still on your side. And tonight I'm going to do something for you because I'm going to go take care of AJ Styles." And also Dom was very confused about how Liv told him good night while it was the daytime here. He doesn't understand.
Backwards. Good morning.
Whatever. Good morning. Good morning.
You're also confused.
I guess I'm confused too. Liv was saying good morning over the phone while Dom was nighttime, and he didn't understand that. So they had to teach him.
Which is fair. I mean,
very fair. He's a learning boy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, never stop learning.
Never stop learning there. Pat McAfee, they would give him his flowers. They literally just gave him a moment to soak in the crowd, and the crowd, that was the biggest pop of the night. This was a silent crowd for most of the time, but he got up on the table and they gave him a cheer.
Unless your name's Rhea.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Rhea's next level, but I mean, this was, the crowd was not into it tonight.
No.
You could kind of feel that through the screen.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Our live stream was also like, dude, what the hell's up with this crowd? We would have the Creeds taking on the War Raiders, which was a #1 contender match.
And New Day.
And the New Day was on commentary, which is, we'll just note that right away. They were hilarious. we don't get to hear a lot of commentary because we do the live streams, COD WrestlePod on YouTube. The commentary doesn't always get heard from us, but they were doing a really good job just cutting down Pat and Michael Cole, calling Michael Cole a hypocrite because he helped Pat McAfee cheat in their match. And so they were like, why are you getting mad at us for cheating during matches when you do the same damn thing for your brother? And they called Pat McAfee Michael Cole's boyfriend. It was a funny time.
Yeah, the girlfriend gets upset and the boyfriend's got to stand up for her. That's what they said.
So New Day was doing a good work here. But match started. Julius Creed is an absolute dog, to put it that way. Every time they fight, I have to say that because Julius Creed's an absolute dog.
Every time.
He took Eric to the outside and gave him this superplex onto the mat. It was absolutely insane.
Kip up.
And a kip up. The Creeds worked the hell out of Eric for 90% of this match. Just kept him in the corner and beat the hell out of him. And that was the story of the entire match, really. Until they would get an Ivar hot tag and all the good stuff did start happening. But they came back. The Creeds came back. Superplex to Ivar, followed up by Brutus doing a moonsault to him. So they're awesome. Eventually, the New Day would get involved. And was it Xavier Woods? Yeah, Xavier Woods distracted Eric in the ring while Ivar was heading to the top rope. Refs now focused on Woods and Eric while Ivar's going to the top rope. That means Mr. Kofi Kingston can go and knock him off the top rope, which leads to the Brutus Bomb from the Creeds. 1, 2, 3, the Creeds win. But they're the #1 contenders now until we go backstage to Adam Pearce, who's now getting, he's in the middle of the Creeds, or not the Creeds. He's in the middle of the War Raiders complaining about how they lost and the New Day who are saying it is what it is. And Adam Pearce just goes, you know what? I've had enough of this. It's just going to be a triple threat title match, which doesn't make any sense because the match just happened. So I'm going to have to give all this a drop. I just don't think they're finding any sort of good storytelling in the Raw Tag Division. I'm sorry. I love the Creeds, and I think the War Raiders are good, and I like what the New Day can do. But right now, it's just not meshing for me, man. I'm dropping it.
Yeah, I'm going to drop this as well. Creeds are fantastic. New Day, honestly, the commentary tonight was good. I think they should probably try to lean a little bit more into that. That was the first time I really kind of seen that with the New Day. But that was fun. So obviously you can't have heel versus heel because why not? So we're going to do the triple threat, but then it's like, what was the point of the match? And the Creeds, at the end of the day, the Creeds get screwed out of it. I mean, they didn't do anything wrong. They just won the match. So now it's a triple threat. I know that's basically because there's no other tag teams on Raw and just throw them together and it's going to be fun and the match is going to be good whenever we do get that. But what's the point of #1 contender match if we're not going to stick to it?
Yeah, it just feels like they just can't seem to find any good storytelling for the Raw Tag Team division. I just keep saying it weekly, and it sounds like I'm just complaining, which I guess I technically am. But at the same time, when you are watching such fresh, awesome stuff every Friday night on the SmackDown Tag Division, like the Street Profits versus Fraxia match last week, and then you come and watch a Raw Tag Team match right now, it feels like it's in the mud. It's just stuck. And I get that there's differences in wrestling styles. I get that, and I like that kind of stuff. But the slowness combined with the lack of storytelling right now, I want no part of the Raw Tag Team division.
Yeah. There's just no credit. Like I said, there's no credible tag teams really. There's these three that they've kind of built around, and they're kind of stuck.
And it's like the Creeds won the match and are #1 contender. We witnessed live the Creeds losing on Saturday or on WWE main event whenever they have that to the Alpha Babes, totally clean 2 weeks ago. So it's just like, are you giving them the push? Are you not? Are they a strong tag team? Or are they not? So, yeah, I can just go on for days about that.
It might just be an easy way, a triple threat, get the Creeds the belts, to be honest.
They should do that.
I think that's maybe why they do this, and that's going to be the positive side of things. The hopeful side of things is, hey, you got a triple threat. New Day, War Raiders can kind of really just go at it. Creeds are kind of like the odd people out. Like New Day are praising the Creeds. The Creeds don't really have a problem with the War Raiders. They're like, yeah, cool, we'll fight you, whatever. So maybe the Creeds just end up winning because of that.
I'm down. Creeds championship, down. Jey Uso, it's not his turn to come to the ring. Yeet. He's looking good, man. Jay's he's glowing up right now. I like Jey. I like Jey a lot. He does the encore, of course. Yeet. Yeet's all the way out there. He calls out Logan Paul. He says that Logan Paul keeps saying that he's not championship material, but he keeps ducking him at the same time. So at Saturday Night Main Event, it's me and it's you, and I promise I will still be champ. Yeet, win. Gunther's music hits. Things get spicy. We're like, what the hell is this man doing out here?
Yeah, little did we know, Gunther versus Pat, number 1 contender match.
Yeah. He comes out and he goes, the unimaginable has come true. You are champion. But I know what you're going through because 80% of my time here, I have been a champion. I know the pressure, and in my opinion, you have not changed. You are not a natural champion like I am. And he goes, why did you not bring this up in your little spiel right here in the promo? He goes, you were told in the back by Adam Pearce that at Saturday Night Main Event, the winner of you and Logan will fight me on the Raw after Money in the Bank, which is weirdly timed. He goes, and honestly, Jay, I hope that you win so I can finally shut you up and put you in your place. And that rattles Jay because he starts going off and he says, I'm in my place. I know my place. I run this place. I am your world champion. I will win. Yee. But this was good. This is good. We have confirmed basically that the Logan Paul Jey Uso match is a, winner goes on to face Gunther in a rematch, which will probably be Jey versus Gunther. How do we feel about this being them running this one back? I'm popping all this, by the way.
I'm going to pop it because I'm in a tough spot. I'm going to pop it because I don't really know what else they were going to do. We talked a little bit about Jey having the one-off feud. I thought maybe this would be a one-off feud with Logan Paul. It looks to be that way. The Gunther stuff seems a little bit weird. The stuff with Pat just seems, I guess, confusing because it's like maybe I would have rather him just not had the match sort of thing, even though I enjoyed what really kind of came to be. You look at it from the outside and you're like, okay, so he loses his title and then he just destroys the commentator, but then he just jumps right back in. So that part's a little bit confusing, I guess, but it is what it is. We've really enjoyed Jey versus Gunther in the past before, so assuming we get that again, which I think that we will, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the feud. It's going to be interesting to see how they have Jey in this match because the whole thing is you tapped out, you tapped out, you tapped out. We're still kind of getting the, hey, I'm better than you. And Jay's just like, no, you're not. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do, give Jey kind of a more definitive win, even though making somebody tap out is almost as definitive as you can be.
Yeah, people aren't going to like that they're running it back so soon or that Jey isn't going to have a big time story in between Gunther and Gunther, basically. He's got to go after Logan Paul. Totally understand that, not defending that. But I like the idea of Gunther getting a rematch clause because I am a fan when rematch clauses are the norm in WWE. I don't like how they're so few and far between at the moment, but I like it. And then I like the idea of Jey Uso beating Gunther again and really cementing himself as a champion. No, that wasn't a fluke. That wasn't just because of all the emotions of WrestleMania. I beat you because I'm better than you and I am the world champion. I think that could do wonders for Jey Uso. And I really like where Jey Uso is right now. So seeing him beat Gunther one more time, I would fully buy in at that point. I would be like, okay, yep, Jey Uso is world championship material. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting part that we haven't even talked about yet is it is the 9th. So it's 2 days after Money in the Bank. So it's like, well, that clearly is not for, that's clearly for a reason. So that's going to be a lot of intrigue in terms of what happens at Money in the Bank, who wins that, because you don't just throw that there for no reason.
Yeah, I agree. It happening a day after or 2 days after Money in the Bank, that's planned. So that skyrockets people like Seth Rollins, skyrockets people like Braun Breaker's chances of winning that thing, in my opinion. We don't even have anybody declaring yet.
Unless they just want to play with our hearts.
Yeah.
Which is also
is great.
I mean,
but after Jey Uso comes to the ring and moves on, commercial break happens. We come back and Ludwig Kaiser looks like he's about to declare for Money in the Bank or something. But then we hear some pipes falling and Jey Uso is on the ground and Braun Breaker standing over him. He attacked him. He walks away and Sami Zayn and Punk are right there right after Braun walks away
and the Hurricane. That's about it, though. Nothing big there. So we'll see what happens after that or in the coming weeks. Stand back. There's an ambulance coming through. That's what he should have said.
Yeah.
He should have said that.
That'd be cool.
I would like that.
Then we get Finn Balor, AJ Styles. No Dom comes out in the commentary booth the entire time. Like Pat and Michael like, where's Dom at? Where's Dom at? Where's Dom at? Because Carlito and JD are out there with them.
And they don't answer.
This match.
They literally don't give an answer.
They're just like, worry about yourself, Pat, I guess. I don't know. But this match on paper, I was so freaking excited for. I really was. This match was not very good. They kind of put up a stinker here tonight, and I don't want to say that, but AJ Styles dominated the entire match, but they kind of didn't do much while he dominated. They were doing a lot of holds, a lot of simple clotheslines, drags, stuff like that. No big moments really. Eventually we would have like JD getting involved, which got Dom a couple moves of offense in, got Finn a couple moves of offense in, but still really nothing because AJ would put him in the calf crusher, whatever they call it. And that would lead to Finn selling the leg the rest of the match. And when he got his big comeback off, he went for the coup de grace and AJ moved out of the way. And when he landed, his leg hurt even more. So AJ was like, screw it, I'm going to go after the calf crusher again, hit him with the Styles Clash, gave him the 1-2 ooh. And that's when, of course, Judgment Day got involved big time. Carlito distracts the ref, but AJ's like, screw it, I don't care. I'm still going to take out JD before he becomes a problem. That's when Finn would hit the 1916. Got the 1-2 ooh there. But then Penta's there. Penta is there.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. He pops up and he takes out Judgment Day.
It's Carlito with the Destroyer.
Yeah, he uses JD as like a launching pad.
Like Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, like Jeff Hardy used to do. And then he hit the Mexican Destroyer on Carlito. And meanwhile, you're in the ring. It cuts to AJ, who's just setting up the phenomenal forearm. He hits it. 1, 2, 3. He beats him. So, Penta stuff is good. I don't really know where we're going with that because it seems like the Judgment Day are just kind of circulating around Penta, but then there's also the El Grande stuff. So, I mean, we could be talking about more members there as well, whether or not Dom's going to want to bring him in. I don't really know, but honestly, I wasn't feeling this match. I like what they did at the end, so I will give the ending stuff a pop, but the first 75% of this match was not good. I'm dropping it. I'm giving a pop and a drop here.
Yeah. I'm going to drop this one.
The whole thing?
Yeah. I just don't.
Yeah.
I didn't really take anything away from it. I guess it's probably my biggest thing that I didn't take anything away. You got AJ getting the win here. Finn says, I'm going to put AJ down. So, like, obviously he doesn't. And Dom can be like, well, you didn't do that. And he can be like, well, where were you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's whatever. The match, like you said, itself wasn't that great. Penta's wrapped up in Judgment Day stuff, but he's also wrapped up in El Grande stuff, but he's also kind of coming for Dom, but Judgment, I don't know. It's weird. So there's not really a clear path for him. They seem like maybe they don't know what to do. I thought El Grande was going to be the distinct destined path, but we didn't even see El Grande tonight. So who really knows here at this point? But the match itself just wasn't great.
No.
And it didn't really progress the storyline enough for me. Yeah, where's Dom? Hey, you didn't come help me. I come and help you. Whatever. That's fine. But it just doesn't move the needle enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, I'm bought in on this.
Yeah, and there wasn't, apart from the where's Dom stuff, there really wasn't mention of Dom not showing up. So it's going to be heavy lifting story-wise for them next week in telling what happened tonight. Like the fallout's all going to be next week instead of acknowledging it at all this week. If that makes any sense. Like there wasn't even like when Finn was on the outside with JD and Carlito, they didn't even look at each other and go like, where was Dom? Like, what the hell? Where was he? Like that would have been enough for me to be like, okay, well, we're moving it. And we watch all the time, so we know that they're moving it, but they didn't show us tonight that was the story beat.
Yeah, and I guess maybe, I don't know, Liv is supposed to come back next week from what we hear. Yeah. And Finn has been seen talking to Roxanne multiple times backstage. So you get that part, right? We understand all of that stuff, and Liv can kind of come back. But for Liv, such an important character to come back next week, I would have thought they would have really kind of maybe tried to cause more of a divide in the few weeks that she was gone. I get you can't break up a whole faction in a couple weeks, but really kind of see the tension there. And I just didn't feel that.
Yeah, very interesting stuff with the Roxanne stuff. Very interesting stuff backstage. If you don't keep a keen eye while they're walking backstage, you see some cool stuff in the background. But we would have Becky Lynch come out. The man has arrived in Louisville. She cut a banger of a promo. She was just by herself and she was pissed off. She said she wasn't beaten. Lyra was beaten at Backlash because Becky got to go have drinks in her bus or whatever while Lyra was sent to the hospital because she messed up her face. And she said, after all that she's done to me, after all that she said to me, I gave her best match and now she actually matters. Good point, Becky. Chalk up one for you. She says, I've realized I have been manipulated by all of you fans. You guys told me to leave, so I left. And she said, we used to be like this together, and I used to care about what you guys think, and I used to do things for you. But then I kept winning, and you guys decided to be done with me. Now, guess what? I don't have to listen to all your lies. From now on, I am whatever you say I am. I don't care. Am I greedy? Sure. Am I a cutthroat? Sure. She's basically saying, if you call me Becky Hogan, sure, that's what I am. It's basically what she was insinuating to the crowd. She says, all the women in the back will learn that they are being held down by the man. This promo was awesome. Becky Lynch is coming for the entire women's division. She is speaking all the facts. She's right. She really built up Lyra in just a couple weeks. Becky has still got it. She's the man. I'm excited about it. Popping it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I guess, storyline beats, like this is the best thing probably of the night. I mean, you could argue maybe Braun and Rollins and that whole thing, but I would say this is probably the biggest takeaway, I would say. Becky with a phenomenal promo. You really need a great woman heel on Raw, and she shows that she's that. You can call her selfish, like she said, and you can say, oh, she's holding all these women down. She's like, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. You know, she said, I read all the comments. I see the comments. I see the replies, and you guys hate me, basically. You guys turned your back on me. And so it's just like a big, hey, internet, like I see that you guys don't like this. Hey, guess what? We're going to keep doing it. We're going to make it even worse. So I'm here for it. I didn't really know what to expect for Becky and Lyra kind of coming out of that match. I assumed with how it ended, hey, we'll just run it back again. But we get to see more of like an evil, I don't really care attitude from Becky Lynch. And like, that's excites me.
Yeah. This is what a good wrestling feud is supposed to do. Both people are supposed to come out looking like $1 million. And yes, Becky lost the Intercontinental Championship match, but she looked so good and her character is still so good that if she wants to just come out and not go after Lyra again, and she wants to come out and just call out all the women in the division, it's like, yeah, I'm 100% behind you. You're still badass, even though you lost. I still believe that you can beat anybody in that locker room. That's how good your character has been. Now, I personally want her to still go after Lyra because I think that the work on getting Lyra completely over is not done, and it's proven that she has done such a good job of doing it that like one more match can really solidify Lyra as one of the top women on the roster. So I want to see that continue. But this heel character, Becky Lynch, man, I'm all behind it. She's doing great work.
Yeah, and I think we will eventually get that. I think my main takeaway from this is she's going to start showing that she's going to hold women down. So like next week, she's going to come out and she's going to destroy somebody. It's maybe a Maxine, maybe an Ivy Nile, maybe a Natalia. Like I don't really like. You can name whoever you want to name. Becky's going to run through the women's division until Lyra basically stands up and be like, okay, do you want a title match? I'll give you a title match. Just name your place. And then that's when we get the next match.
That'd be great. That'd be perfect. That's good booking. Rusev promo. He mad. He's coming for everybody. And Tozawa wants to fight him because Tozawa got all beat up by him last week. And then Sheamus shows up and basically gives him knuckles and is like, good luck, bud. They walk away. And then Sheamus calls out Grayson Waller. So we're getting that next week. If you had commercials earlier on the night, we already knew that because Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, they cut a promo and Theory told Waller he had that match. So we were given that 2 times in one night. Not much to talk about there, but we did get our main event, which is the reason we wanted to watch tonight. Big time match. Roxanne and Julia versus Rhea and Io Sky. This one was a banger.
Well, you wouldn't know that by listening to the crowd.
No, the crowd was awful. Bad crowd, man. Bad crowd.
This match was phenomenal. The crowd just gave you nothing.
The crowd gave us absolutely nothing. Match would start out by Julia and Roxanne teaming on Io, and Rhea just had enough of watching it, which I was like, that pretty good logic there. But they were just beating her up in the corner instead of doing the thing where you just sit there on the rope and you're like, oh, come on, hot tag. Rhea was like, nah, I'm just going to get in the ring and beat him up for a couple seconds. She did that, and then she went back out to the outside of the ring. I was like,
it's like a very 2K tactic.
It's like, good for you, Rhea.
You know what? I'm tired of this.
Yeah. Match would spill out and Rhea would like catch Julia on a dive, but Roxanne would drop kick Julia's back and push Rhea into the post with it. And then Io had a dive and took out Rox. Then Julia drop kicked Rox on the outside, or drop kicked Io on the outside. So stuff was absolutely going insane there. This was all really good stuff. Later in the night, Rhea got a hot tag, gave Rox a Razor's Edge. Rox gave a Hurricane Rana to Rhea off the top rope, which is really nice. Julia would do a missile drop kick top rope missile drop kick from Io to Julia, because that's what she does. Julia and Roxanne would tag team on Rhea and kind of keep her down to prove that, she needs more than one person to really keep her down. Io would hit it over the moonsault, but Rox would break that pin. Julia would hit like a double arm hook suplex off the top rope to Io, but Rhea would break that pin. So they were trading pins. Shit was going absolutely insane, man. It was nuts.
The match was phenomenal.
Meanwhile, Cricket, they're like, "Oh, where's my popcorn?" in the crowd. It was absolutely wild. Eventually, we get this spot where Rhea gets in the ring behind Julia to sort of surprise her, and she ends up shoving Julia into Roxanne, who is coming off the top rope doing a missile drop kick. So she ends up kicking Julia, and then Rhea or somebody takes out Roxanne. I didn't really know, but Roxanne sold it like she died. She was laying there just done, and honestly got me a little worried. She was laying there in the ring done, but that would lead to Rhea just picking up Julia, giving her the riptide. 1, 2, 3. Rhea and Io win. After Rhea and Io win, they do end up holding each other's arms up, and there's a championship in between them, and Rhea looks at the championship, it looks at Io, and Io turns and looks Rhea in the eye, so it looks like we are running that back very soon. Io versus Rhea, kind of to finish off that storyline, and I'm honestly down for it. I loved all this. I'm popping it.
Yeah, it's 4 of the best women wrestlers in the world, 4 of the best wrestlers in the world, period. Match was phenomenal. Roxanne, Julia, phenomenal. Io and Rhea, they're Io and Rhea. The storyline I thought was really good between Rhea and Io, kind of being able to set aside their differences. Like, okay, cool, let's just dispose of this new tag team. Like, okay, cool. Super easy stuff. Julia and Roxanne looked really good here. I assume, like you keep saying, future tag champs, next up tag champs.
Please.
Which, I mean, that sounds phenomenal. Please. I don't know who they're going to feud with, but yeah, sure, let's do it. Sounds great. Take it back to NXT. Do that. Just kind of bounce around. As for the big stuff to take away here, Io, Rhea, I know some people might be tired of it, but I'm not. I kind of think like, okay, had a little bit of breath of fresh air. We're not getting the, hey, it's Rhea Ripley shoved down everybody's throat right now. It's just like hey, Rhea is Rhea Ripley, Io is Io. They're equals at this point. Let's run it back one more time for the title. You got something I want? Like, okay, cool, I'm in.
Yeah, I agree. This isn't like Rhea being too much Rhea, where she just walks in and demands a title shot and she gets it one way, shape, or form. It's like this has been almost a month of them dealing with these stupid, pesky new girls that are on their back, and they've had to help each other week after week. And now Io and Rhea look at each other and they're like, you know what? We've now earned each other's respect. Let's do this one final time and see who really is the best. And like that totally works for me. I'm totally down for it. And at the end of the day, we know the match is going to be absolutely stellar between the two of them. So it's like, hell yeah. I do think Io should still win it because I'm not tired of her title reign. I think she's awesome. But Rhea, Io, any day of the week, man, I'm down.
Yeah, any day of the week you can pencil it in. It's going to be 5 stars.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is you have investment from both sides. You've got, like, that's the really nice thing about their feud specifically. Like, you've got a ton of Rhea fans who want to see Rhea win. You've got a ton of Io fans that want to see her win. And those forces, like, hitting each other, like we saw with, Randy and John when we were there. That's what makes the matches. That's what really builds in when people love and care for these women and characters so much, So I'm a little on the fence about that match, which we can get to that whenever that ends up happening. Unless there's some sort of return, I think Rhea might end up beating Io because that whole thing was, hey, you never beat me sort of thing. But who knows? Either way, at this point, you could sign me up for any of it.
Totally agree. Boring episode of Raw. We gave it 12 pops to 4 drops, but it
commercial breaks.
A lot of commercial breaks, a lot of recaps. Yeah. WWE TV is getting very much over the top with that sort of stuff. I get commercial breaks, you have to do them, but I mean, the recaps and everything feels like a lot of fluff. So the episode was not bad, but it was a boring one. If I had to give it on a scale from like, on an A to F scale, I'd say this is a solid like C level Raw.
Yeah, and I think it was the Finn AJ match? It had like 6.
Yeah.
They put 6 minutes, and it was like commercial break, and then they came back for like a minute. They're like commercial break. Yeah, it's like it's hard to get into it when you are getting that.
It is, but it was a lot more fun watching it with you guys on our live stream, youtube.com/@CODWrestlePod. We live stream Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs, and we love to see you guys there. Thank you all for joining today, and for everything else, it's @CODWrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It's got all of our social medias and stuff there, so please like, follow, subscribe, share, all that stuff. We also have new Reacts content on TikTok. It's COD WrestlePod Reacts. So if you would like to join that new thing that we're doing, please do. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.